Hello, welcome back to First Draft Films from Indie to Hollywood. I was genuinely about to say I'm Brooke, which is not true. I do not know why that happened. I'm Kate. I don't know what the heck.
I'm Brooke.
Yes, she is not me. I am not her.
That'd be weird.
Okay, we've talked for a long time, and I know you don't want to do this, but essentially you straightening your hair for 5 hours and me curling my hair for 5 hours and then making a silly video and pretending to be each other or something. I put on her glasses and I don't know.
I mean, I've told you I have a long brown wig specifically purchased to make it look like I straightened my hair, so that's always an option.
I know, but if I'm curling my hair for 5 hours...
Why would it take you 5 hours?
Because it does. If I want my hair to look like yours, it would have to take a really long time because I'd have to do teeny. Now that the tangent of hair and curling has been, now that we've waded through that river, we're going to talk about popular movies of the past year or so, what we've seen. We have not seen all of them. Brooke has seen more of them than I have, and a couple of popular shows as well. Not as many shows as movies, but we're going to go through some of those, and as briefly as we can, because that's a lot for one episode, we'll go through that. And
I mean, some of them really don't have much to talk about. I mean, they're just, you know, kind of good or kind of whatever, Some stuff is just like that.
True. And we are going to start talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once because last night I was at a movie night with Brooke and I watched it for the first time. Mm-hmm. And you saw it in theaters, right?
I did. I saw it when it first came out. I don't remember how long ago that was.
I remember you came back raving about it.
Yeah. I really liked it. The production quality is 10 out of 10.
I agree.
Amazing. They obviously had the time, the talent, and the money to do everything they wanted well. It is truly a high-quality film, especially coming from a studio like A24, which isn't major, like Universal or Paramount or, those type of studios. It's truly an amazing film in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just watched it twice. Kate, what are your thoughts having this be literally less than 24 hours since you watched it for the very first time?
So, our friend Sky at the movie night, I can't remember if he'd seen it before or not, but if he hadn't?
No one else saw it before.
Oh, okay. So, he, credits roll, he stands up and he says, production quality was off the charts, but holy crap, these people need God! And that's kind of sums up how I feel about the movie as well. Overall, if I was to say stars, I would say 4 out of 5 stars, because, production quality, acting, amazing, but the philosophy and, what I got out of it from a philosophy standpoint and from a, what's the point of the movie standpoint was honestly kind of pointless.
Right, you mentioned it was,
It's just nihilism. Nothing matters. I mean, nihilism is also kind of nothing exists, from what I remember, but, in this, everything exists, therefore nothing matters, and all of, the heartwarming, family reuniting, family getting back together again stuff that they were doing, throughout the movie, and especially at the end. This has spoilers, by the way. We'll probably...
By the way.
So it's supposed to be oh, happy ending, da-da-da-da-da, but they just literally were talking about how nothing matters. So if them getting back together is warming and heartwarming and wonderful, and we're supposed to be so happy for them, but nothing matters, is that's in conflict, and therefore the ending felt weak to me and very unsatisfying.
So I would argue that you missed the entire point of the ending.
Okay.
So this movie has 3 parts. Part 1, everything. Part 2, everywhere. Part 3, all at once. I haven't fully correlated the titles of each part to the sections. I mean, there's some obvious ones, but I feel like there's more there that I just haven't uncovered
Probably.
yet. So in the first part, it's this action drama, especially action-y, kind of explaining everything. It's got sci-fi, it's got, all these elements to it. It's very exciting. And it introduces this multiverse, everything. Mm-hmm. And then part 2 is essentially not time jumping, but like universe jumping, where the main character is able to travel to all these different versions of herself. And in doing that, she, like her daughter, realizes that, you know, nothing matters, because what is the point when you can do anything, anywhere, anytime you want? But the third part, also the shortest, it was like
5 minutes or something.
Yeah. It's in the subtle moments in that last part that the characters realize, because nothing matters, everything matters. In the beginning, when they first go to the IRS building, Waymond sees this older couple, the woman wants to go to the bathroom, the man holds her bag, and they kiss briefly, and she goes off to the bathroom, and he looks at that so longingly, like that is what he wants more than anything, is a connection, a romance with his wife. And so then at the end of the movie, Evelyn does that for him. She holds his bag as he goes off to the bathroom, which she never would have done before, because what's the point? But now, going through this journey, she realizes the point is to be present, be in the moment, be in connection with those around you and with your loved ones. So it's those small acts of love that truly matter, when really what else matters.
Well, that's supposed to be the point, but I don't think that they accurately represented that, because the whole time they were talking about how nothing mattered. It's just everything matters and nothing matters for me is so polar opposite on the spectrum of philosophy and life that even though, of course, the point is that it's supposed to be that everything matters, but it just seemed in too much conflict to me. It didn't land at all.
I feel like it's that conflict that really landed for me. It's the stark contrast between nothing mattering in part 2 and this like essentially absolute low for these characters that then brings them up, and you see this journey be completed when they come through that dark time of nothing matters, similar to depression or grief or something. They go through that and then they realize what does matter.
I guess it was what she said when her daughter is about to leave and they're outside in the parking lot with the parallel thing of like the giant bagel thing, and she's disappearing into that. And then she gives her a hug and she says, and Evelyn says, nothing matters. Therefore, all these things. And it just seemed like it was shooting itself in the foot. It was like, you could have just said everything matters. She could just as well have said that. But she didn't. And therefore, it like ruined the whole thing for me. Not ruined the whole thing. Like I said, it was a good movie. I'd gladly see it multiple times again. I'm sure I'd get more out of it every time. But that was my impressions on my first viewing. So, yeah, I can understand why it's so popular, but it's also kind of sad to me in a way that people are connecting with the nihilism.
Well,
I think some people are.
You had a very nice childhood, so that's not surprising.
I did.
I think a lot of people in this day and age, especially in our generation, they do relate a lot to that nihilism, in the nothing matters, in the depression, in the grief, in the all of those things. And so to relate to that in the middle of this movie and towards the end, and to just come to realize through them that, yeah, so what if nothing matters? Because these things do matter, this love, this connection, that is what matters. And for me, like, if I had seen that when I was younger, that would have had a huge impact on me. Being older and moving past that, it's still a huge impact, but more of a reminder than an epiphany.
Check.
She's done talking about that movie.
Yes, I am. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep repeating myself. That's going to be annoying. So, okay.
What do you want to talk about next?
We can just sort of go down the list. A lot of this is going to be just most of one of us talking, because of all the things on this list, we've seen only 4 of the same things.
Well, let's talk about those.
Okay, Spider-Man.
You saw Spider-Man?
The new one? Yeah.
Mm.
You took me and Paula to see it.
Oh, I see a lot of movies.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I don't see as many.
Yeah, that was a pretty good movie. A lot of fan service. Tom Holland, I think, is a pretty good actor. Zendaya, of course, amazing. It was really cool to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come back and just have these little moments. However, those were the best moments of the movie, and I don't mean that in a good way. It's very much a Marvel formula movie with very beloved characters, ones especially close to my heart. Fantastic production value, I mean, stunts and CG and all that, you know, it's Disney. They got money to do that. So, yeah.
I'm not really a Marvel person. My favorite Marvel movie is still the first ever Iron Man, and nothing has ever topped that or come close in my mind. So, it was fun. I'd see that again too. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just not a superhero-esque person, but I really like the Batman. So...
That's a totally different kind of superhero movie, though. Not that I've seen it yet,
Yeah.
but from what I have seen and from what I've heard, that is not standard Marvel formula movie.
Oh, it is. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a cool segue, unless you have anything else to say about Spider-Man.
I mean, it's definitely enjoyable, definitely worth watching, especially if you are a Marvel fan or Spider-Man fan. But overall, it's just another Disney Marvel movie, and it could have been so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check. Okay, the Batman, now that I already brought it up.
We'll come back to that later.
But that wasn't 2022.
So? The
Okay.
Batman.
The Batman. I actually related to the Batman a huge amount. I know you haven't seen it yet, Brooke, but we're talking about spoilers anyway. At the very end, and I heard some people say, because when Mario and I watched it, we had a double date. It was a double date with Jesse and Alicia, and it was really fun. And so we were talking about it afterwards, and Alicia was like, I kept thinking, oh, this is gonna be the end. Oh, this is gonna be the end, and it was like a 3-hour movie almost. So I mean, that's kind of has its own downfalls in some ways. But at the end, kind of the whole point of it is like, yeah, this is a messed up city. Yeah, there's crime and corruption and like everything is just awful, but we love it, so we're gonna keep fighting for it. And that that just struck such a chord with me, because on so many levels, that's kind of how I feel about Yakima. And I think Jesse felt the same way too, talking about it like, yeah, fighting evil, like, he's fighting evil, we're fighting evil, like, all in our own ways. Production quality amazing, I like all of that as well. And just the gloomy dread of the atmosphere was really unique. Just things that I usually see or whatever, it was different. So
Have you seen the Dark Knight trilogy?
I haven't. Yeah.
You should watch that.
Yeah, this is literally the first Batman movie I've ever seen. I've never seen any other Batman movies.
I shouldn't be that shocked. My first Batman movie was like less than 2 years ago.
I have them on my watch list on HBO Max, so eventually we need to sit down and watch them.
Yeah, the
when
Dark
we're
Knight trilogy
done
is
watching
good.
all these other things.
So many other things.
So many things. We just
we
start
get,
watching
like-
shows,
Yeah. Well, we get like a movie or show recommendation like at least once a week.
and I write them all down. So, The Batman, really good. One of my favorites of the year. Once again, I haven't seen all of the movies that came out this last year, but I feel like that's all I'm gonna say about that. Good movie.
I'll talk about The Menu because that one has really stuck in my mind since I saw it. I saw it with a good friend of mine. We always watch these like weird movies. I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once with her too. Not that either of those movies are particularly weird, but they're not. What?
Everything Everywhere All at Once is very weird, Brooke.
Okay, yes. But by weird, I mean more like indie or whatever. Anyways,
Okay.
The Menu. Absolutely beautiful with its food. Spoiler alert. It's all about food. So this couple goes to this really elite restaurant. They only have like 10 people or something like that who are even allowed to go into this restaurant normally, like each night or something like that. Some big experience, thousands of dollars. But this chef is a psychopath. And not in your traditional psychopath way, which I really appreciated. It was a very interesting take on the, how do I put it? It's not like serial killer, because it's just the twisted mind of a deranged individual, which I find intriguing sometimes, not always. But in this particular case, it was interesting. He seemed like this very normal, maybe a little OCD, a little particular in some ways, chef of this very elite restaurant. But then you find out that his whole intention was to kill everyone, himself and his staff included. That is not exactly how the movie ends. And the whole twist of it is that this main female character outwits him, basically.
Nice.
Which would have been fine if they set her up at the beginning to be witty, but I didn't get that at the beginning.
Man.
She was just kind of snarky and like she didn't want to be there. She wasn't supposed to be there either. She was like a last minute replacement that the chef didn't even know about. So he was like all annoyed from the beginning when he saw her because he was like, I picked out specifically who I'm going to bring here to kill. And then he got mad at her date who like, you know, brought her without informing anyone, without even informing her because this guy knew that everyone was going to die. And he brought this. She was kind of a prostitute, but not a prostitute. She was like an escort, I guess.
Okay.
So he knew that when he purchased this date with her, that she was gonna die, and he didn't tell her. He's kind of a jerk. And so the chef got really mad, and that kind of ties in there with like the relationship between the psychopathic chef and this main protagonist, female. But yeah, they didn't set her up to be quite witty enough to win, in my opinion, because it is essentially a battle of wits that wins her safety, more or less. So that was really my only critique of the movie. Everything else I really enjoyed.
Well, you know, all the strong female characters just have to have a bunch of snark and not much else. That's what makes a strong female character.
She actually wasn't super stereotypical.
That's good.
I
am being tongue-in-cheek, but I am also being serious at the same time.
No, I'm right there with you. Normally,
Marvel.
Yeah. So all in all, I would recommend The Menu.
Nice.
It's really beautiful. It's a fun watch. It's not entirely predictable. I did see the ending going in a bit of a different direction. So, yeah.
Nice. I saw the new Top Gun movie and you didn't, so I can go over that one next. Yeah.
I did see the ending of it.
How did you happen to watch the ending?
I went to a birthday party late.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that one. Mario and I watched it when we were on our anniversary trip to the West Side. And it was just a ton of fun. Everybody keeps talking about how patriotic it is, and it may be telling of 2020, well, at the time 2022, that a patriotic movie is just like a movie just telling a story. It doesn't have anything to do with politics whatsoever. Although apparently people are saying that because it portrays the military in a positive way, which tends to be a more patriotic slant, and sometimes things take an opposite angle when they are less patriotic or whatever. But anyways, it was just a really good movie. It was really fun. We barely watched the old Top Gun like a year or so ago. Yeah. And this one was way better. It was really fun and touching as well. And just a good, really, really solidly well done movie. Again, production level off the charts. Just loved it a lot for that, but the story was good. I liked it.
I feel like the production value on all these movies is just set so high now compared to what it used to be.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that's just a matter of cameras are getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Technology is improving.
Yeah.
And of course it costs a lot of money, but yeah, movies look good now.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, I want to watch Top Gun soon.
Yeah.
The new one, Maverick.
Yeah.
It looks fun. On this list is Avatar, Doctor Strange, Uncharted, Nope, and then a couple shows. So I'll just touch on those four real quick. I watched Avatar Way of Water a week ago, something like that. It was good. I really liked it. A touch of wokeness, but not as much as I was expecting. I was very pleasantly surprised overall with the movie.
Good.
Incredibly beautiful. Like, if you think the first Avatar is amazing with its CGI and stuff, your mind will be blown by the second one. Like, it is incredible. Doctor Strange, that was alright. Uncharted, that was pretty good. I enjoyed myself. It was a Mission Impossible type movie, slightly less epic, slightly more comedic. Enjoyable. Yeah, Nope. I really liked Nope. That is one that I think everyone should see. It is not your typical horror film. Kind of like The Menu, but way better than The Menu. It deals with sci-fi, and yeah, it's another one of those kind of unpredictable movies in a very good way, but also if you did see the end coming, it's more or less satisfactory. I've heard a lot of people didn't like it, though. But their complaints for it were very stupid, and I can't remember them at the moment. But it was like, I don't know. They
somebody
didn't
was
get
a lesbian.
No,
or something?
No, it was they like didn't get the movie because it's a little more intellectual. There's some subtle plot threads going on through there, and I really enjoyed that a lot. But there's some stupid people out there who just want everything spoon-fed to them, so can't win everything.
So you want to talk about Dune? It seems.
That's what I wrote down earlier.
Yeah.
Very big lettering, Dune. I love that movie. I'm so excited.
Dune.
The next one is coming out in 9 months.
Ah!
Kate's also excited.
All the excitement,
All
the
the
time.
Yeah, so that's a fantastic movie.
We did see it in 2021, which is why I didn't think to add it to the list.
2022-ish, you know.
Yeah.
Man, so much could be said about that movie, but so much has been said about that movie.
By us.
By us, by everyone, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to really like that movie. I've heard some people say it's slow at the beginning, which it is pretty heavy on the exposition, but granted, I haven't read the book, but from what I've heard of the story, you kind of need that exposition.
And for me, it wasn't boring. It didn't bog anything down. It was well done.
I agree.
And it was just like an experience. And I mean, for me, I don't go to the movies a lot. So when I do, every one that I go to is memorable. Like, I mean, go to the theater. I don't go to the theater a lot. So I did. And just like all the surround sound and like everything just like shaking the seats and this like, oh man. And the Hans Zimmer score and all that was just...
It was impossible to tell where the music started and the soundscape.
Oh my gosh,
and,
yeah.
you know...
It was an atmosphere more than a score.
Oh,
it just...
Man. Incredible.
Yes, I can like literally hear it in my head and I get the same feeling.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh yeah. It was just...
Of all the amazing things about that
awe-inspiring.
movie, the sound and the music is probably my favorite. Just because it completely immersed you. Like, you see the desert, you hear the wind and the sand in the music somehow.
Yeah.
And it's not obvious, but it's there, and it just like pulls you in, and it holds the tension really well. Just the music and sound. When you're watching Paul get almost eaten by a worm, it's like you're like, I'm in the worm with you, like. Very excited for the next one.
We are wanting to get a group together and go over to the west side and like get an Airbnb or something, and then we'll go watch an IMAX at like midnight on opening night or something. I don't even know when it's coming out, but like,
that's gonna be awesome.
If you want to come with us, let us know. That would be fun. So, Dune.
Yeah, should we talk about some shows that we watched?
Yeah.
There's so many. I watch a lot of shows.
You do.
Yeah.
Go ahead and start
Oh man.
talking about
I'll start with the less popular ones. You know, there's Stranger Things and Wednesday and all that. But I recently watched a show called Imperfects. That was really fun, filmed in Seattle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really good. One of the actresses I really like and want to be on one of our shows.
Oh yeah, you told me about her.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She has like a perfect look.
Yeah, I watched Russian Doll. That was interesting. Good. Interesting.
What's it about? Do you know what it's about, Brooke?
Yes, it's this woman keeps dying. And she keeps coming, like every time she dies, she comes back to this one specific moment in time on her birthday. And then she like starts there and goes, and then she dies again. And then she restarts at her birthday party and keeps going, and then she dies again. But then she meets this guy who the same thing is happening to. And so they like kind of figure out the mystery together. And then there's a second season that is totally different, but slightly relates, but also is totally different. It was a good show. I'm glad I watched it. But I also understand why it's not super popular. It's another one of those kind of slightly intellectual shows, just slightly. Like, all the subtle things you have to really watch out for, but then there's some obvious stuff that's like, oh, okay, whatever. I think people should watch it overall. I think it's fun.
Cool.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of that show since it came out 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Something like that.
And I just watched it in 2022 for the first time. And I
Yeah.
think the story of how I came to actually want to watch it is really funny. Because if you know me, you probably, and we've talked about movies, I've probably told you that I don't like horror movies, I don't understand the point of them, I don't like being scared, I think being scared is bad, and trying to make yourself scared is bad, so on and so on. I have all these arguments, right? So I come downstairs, this is when we were roommates, I come downstairs and she's watching episode 1 of the 4th
4.
season. And I just sit down on the couch, and she's like, "This is kind of like a horror show, but this is the first episode, so I'm pretty sure nothing will happen." Well, for those of you who know,
was wrong.
she was very, very wrong. But I wasn't traumatized. I was like, "Huh, like this is actually kind of intriguing. I want to watch this." And so like throughout the rest of the few days as she was catching up on the show, I'd like see bits and pieces here and there, and And then I forget when it was, but it was sometime after that summer that we started watching it.
Mhm.
And so we watched everything, like all the seasons, like boom, 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 boom. And I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's fantastic. I think the writing is probably its weakest point, and what they've chosen to do with some characters over time, I have been very unhappy with, specifically Jonathan. But I'm really excited for season 5, and I'm intrigued to see with where they're going.
Yeah.
I just think they totally emasculated Jonathan and turned him into a dork.
He did start out as a dork, like pretty hardcore.
But like that's just because you didn't know him that well.
I found a Jonathan stan.
I don't mean you specifically. I meant like we only saw like a little bit of him, and then
He was pretty dorky and weird.
a little
borderline perverted. He did take those pictures of Nancy and Steve in like episode 2.
I know. I watched that.
Yeah.
You're just like awkward more than a dork, I guess.
Yeah.
Just awkward and shy. Didn't
Yeah.
really have friends. Didn't really know how to talk to people. But then they turned him into a pothead, and it's like, really?
No, it makes sense. I mean, it was the late 80s.
Still, they just. Jonathan deserves better, okay?
He might get better.
He might.
But Kate, you can't start with someone in the middle of the road and go up. That's not satisfying. You have to bring them down before you bring them back up. It's called a character arc. They're not rainbows. That glare physically hurt me.
Good. See, Brooke likes Steve for some
I
reason.
love
Just kidding.
Steve.
Steve is great. I don't dislike Steve. I just like Jonathan better. I don't want Nancy and Steve to get back together because
I
that would
don't
be
either.
stupid.
Nancy's
Stupid.
horrible.
I don't mind her actually.
Nancy's horrible for Steve. She really was very awful to Steve. Like she was totally like infatuated with him in like the beginning of season 1 and then dumped him for mostly valid reasons. But then was just cruel to him after that.
I don't even remember what.
I'm having trouble remembering specifics, but it was at the end of season 1 when Steve and beginning of season 2 when Steve's like trying to better himself and she's just like mean and heartless. And then it's finally in season 4 they like warm up to each other, but I would hate it if they got together. I think they're just
That'd
not
be
right
really
for
dumb.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Steve has come so far. He needs to not be with someone like Nancy. He deserves better than Nancy.
He deserves what's-her-face, the girl who's
Robin.
a lesbian.
Robin's fantastic.
She's great.
I was really hoping that they would get together, but, well.
So, Stranger Things. We like it.
Mhm.
But it's also been a interesting learning experience because specifically they kind of seem to be changing the way the Upside Down works in
Yeah.
every season, and that's annoying because it's inconsistent.
I feel like they didn't give themselves solid rules when they wrote out season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they did, but it really
Maybe
feels
they were like, hey, we're gonna change this. Like,
it
why
feels
did
like
she
they just kind of
disappear?
forgot. Yeah.
I just want to know why she
She
disappeared.
disappeared at the end of season 1, in case you forgot. I've seen it 3 times this year. Still don't know why that happened.
Because none of the other times that has happened to anybody,
Yeah.
like that doesn't, that's not.
And it's
how-
not like she opened a portal.
No, she didn't. She just.
I don't get it. But yeah, season
Yeah.
4, as great as it is, really feels like they're just trying to fix all the plot holes from seasons 1 through
Yeah.
3. Especially like the end of 1, and season 2 was a mess in terms of like plot holes and stuff. But oh well.
Yeah.
At least Will's finally not a plot device in season 4.
Will was hardly in season 4. Let's be
That too.
honest. So many people were hardly in season 4.
That was the other thing, is like they had so many characters.
They have trouble keeping up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which at this point in the show, like, you want to know about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they really shot themselves in the foot just a little bit by separating all of them so much. Like, you had a
Mhm.
group in Russia, you had a group in California, you had a group in Hawkins,
Yeah.
and then they moved around from there, but each of those groups was minimum 3 people, if not upwards of 5, 6, 7 people in a group. That's a lot of people. That's like 15, 20 characters for your
Yeah.
main cast. That's a lot.
That's too much.
But also, your audience cares about all of them, so you have to balance it somehow.
yeah.
So I think they really just should have brought them together somehow to avoid that.
And now, I think, are they all back together again?
They
at
are.
4?
They're
Or,
all
like,
back
most
together
of
in
them? Okay.
Hawkins, and
Okay.
if they split them up again, I will be disappointed, because that is like every single season they have to be split up in order for the conflict to happen, and it's getting repetitive and annoying.
Anyway, all that aside, we like Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty great. We are excited for the next season. Do we know when that's coming out?
Nope.
Okay.
I
sure
can
we'll
look
find
it
out
up.
soon enough. The last thing on our list is Wednesday, which we haven't technically finished watching yet, so...
Sometime in 2024.
Okay.
Most likely summer.
Alrighty, well, we got Dune until then.
Yeah. And, I don't know, a lot of other shows. Yes, Wednesday.
Yeah.
We haven't finished it yet. So far, I can see why it's popular.
Yeah.
The quality is pretty good overall.
Mm-hmm.
But the writing, oh my gosh. Can we not have a quality written show?
We can.
Well, we can.
We can.
Yeah, it just... All the male characters... Okay, maybe not all.
Most of.
Most of the male characters in Wednesday are very bland, two-dimensional, boring as hell.
Or just mean for no
yeah.
reason.
The love interests, Xander and Tyler,
Yeah.
I want to like them, but
I like both of them, but also, like...
they're just so bland and not super masculine in a bad way. Like, Tyler is very strangely feminine, and I believe that's simply because I'm pretty sure it's a female writer. And that, that's a common thing with female writers, something we're trying to avoid in our writing.
Yeah.
But he's weirdly in touch with his emotions in a kind of strange way. But also he goes to therapy, so I don't know, maybe that could explain it. He has no real reason to like Wednesday, that I can tell.
None of them do.
Xander slightly more, because he's at least weird.
Yeah.
But, or is it Xavier? I don't know.
Xander.
Xander?
I think.
Yeah. That one.
Wait, no. Is it Xavier? No, it's Xavier.
It's Xavier?
Oh,
Okay.
Shoot, we've been saying Xander this whole time.
Anyways.
What if it actually isn't? Okay, shoot, never mind.
Tyler.
It's an easy name to remember.
Tyler just works at this coffee shop. He's the girl next door. He is the girl next door, and that is a bad thing. That is a very bad thing.
It's not working.
It's not working. He has no reason to like Wednesday. He has no real intriguing part of him. There's no reason for me to like him as a character. At least Xavier, on the other hand, is
He has pretty
moody.
eyes.
Yeah, he has pretty eyes. He has a secret artist cave.
Yeah.
Which is at least slightly interesting. I hope they do more with that.
Yeah.
His reason for liking Wednesday, I guess, I could see at least a little more than Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
She's weird and aloof and mysterious, and that's sometimes a draw for people. But yeah, I don't know. The love interests are just not there for me.
Yeah. And overall, the show is just, like, really political. And I think it has a very anti-Christian slant. Because not necessarily that some of the characters are specifically Christian and they're bad, but it's talking about, like, witches and all these things, even if they were or actually weren't, and, like, canonically witches, things that are opposed to Christianity, and, like, oh, these people were so oppressed and all this stuff. And, I mean, there is a bit of historical context with, like, the Salem witch trials and stuff which happened, like, but they're just, I don't know, they're just drawing on it in a way that bugs me, just to make it like, look at this evil pilgrim man who
yeah, and we're not trying to say that, like, it should be opposite, because I don't personally know exactly what happened back then. There were probably some evil pilgrims, there were possibly some evil or good witches or whatever, but the show is definitely taking it to an extreme.
Yeah, and
so
it's
far.
very feminist. I'm not a feminist, so it's bugging me.
Yeah.
It's just, like, a lot of implied, like, men bashing, including the poorly written male characters, and I don't like that, so...
Yeah.
But so why do we want to keep watching this show, Brooke? Because we've been talking a lot of criticisms about it. What do we like about it?
The mystery is intriguing.
Yeah.
I am definitely
Who's the monster?
curious.
Yeah, we don't know.
So far, I have not been disappointed in the mystery. There's been a couple times where I was like, oh, they're setting it up to be this guy. I hope they're not going to be obvious or whatever, but thankfully it's not been predictable yet. I do like the character of Wednesday, more or less. I think they took the source material, the Addams Family, and definitely did their own spin on it, took her to high school and whatnot. And I think they did a good job with that overall, story-wise, and with the character of Wednesday. She has these one-liners that just irk me.
They're just kind of cringy.
Yeah, because they're
like,
trying
really
to make
edgy.
her... Yeah, they're
like,
trying to make her edgy, but they do it through these, like, one-liners that just make her seem like an absolute psychopath, which she's not originally. She's weird, that's for sure.
I'm just taking it as she's just being sarcastic.
Yeah. But I do feel like they're just trying to make her edgy to be edgy.
Yeah.
The whole point of the original Addams Family was that it was opposite of standard traditional families. The husband and wife love each other above all else, which at the time was weird and unique. Nowadays, not so much. So, and there's a whole bunch of other things, but trying to find that balance between the Addams Family originally was countercultural, but now it's not so. So do you keep the original Addams Family as they were, or do you modify them to be currently countercultural? And if so,
what
why?
does that actually look like?
Yeah, and what does that look like? Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm definitely curious how they end it.
Yeah.
I also like the character of Enid.
I
like her
Enid
a lot. She's cute.
Yeah. We've decided that we're gonna cosplay as them at some point.
Oh yeah, she's completely Enid, and I am 100% Wednesday.
We want to make a meme of that. What episode? I forget what episode we're on. We're like on episode 5 or 6 by now.
Yeah.
But like Wednesday was like taking all these crime scene photos of like all this gory stuff and like showing them to Enid, and Enid is looking at it like, and she ends up fainting on the floor. And then Wednesday's like, da 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 da. She turns around and Enid's fainted on the floor. She's like, ah. So Brooke doing her research of how to do like realistic wound makeup and stuff like that. Story time. So my dad was in an accident a couple of years ago with like some kind of saw table issue thing, and he ended up like almost chopping his finger off. And so Brooke ended up wanting a picture of it, so she the next time we were over, my dad was like, oh, I forget exactly how it happened, but I was like, nope, keep that away from me, do not bring that picture within 10 feet of me, do not do it. And Brooke was like, I want to see something real.
It's true.
So that's literally
real reference pictures are very hard to find.
Yeah, the internet is more safeguarded than people would like to think.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
It'll be fun to dye my hair some little temporarily pastel colors in the front.
Mm-hmm. Would you recommend people watch Wednesday?
I can't give an actual recommendation till the show's done. So far, I'd say just come in aware that it's not the best thing in the world, and then you might like it. But if you have too high of expectations or too low of expectations, I think. I don't know. I feel like I just said literally nothing at all. Come in with no high expectations. Come in with low expectations. Don't come in with expectations, but that's literally impossible because we're humans and we have expectations. So never mind all that I just said. Just watch the show if you want to.
I will say, to tie this off, Jenna Ortega, fantastic. I love her so much. She's an incredible actress. She does Wednesday justice.
And Gwendolyn Christie's character is cool too.
I love her so much. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Gwendolyn
She's
Christie.
intriguing too.
Oh yeah.
Who is this lady? What is her secret?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we're probably nearing the end here. Do you have any final thoughts on movies or shows or stuff?
I feel like we talked about most of the things. Something that I started watching recently, which is an older show, Babylon 5, I believe is 90s and early 2000s. I'm not entirely sure what year, but that is one of Mario's favorite shows. I've just been watching some of these older sci-fis one at a time every few years that I never have before, and I'm really enjoying Babylon 5. The production quality is not the greatest, especially with their CGI for space travel, but it's getting a little better, I think, and I love the characters, and they explore interesting topics, and they balance multiple subplots and main plots and everything super well, with even shows that are more fillery, they still incorporate some of those side plots and things in from earlier episodes. Everything's just tied together really well. It's really cohesive, and I really like that about it. So, and I like the characters too.
Nice.
Yeah. Commander Jeff, what's his name? It's not Fitzgerald. What is it?
I thought it was Fitzgerald.
It is? Maybe it's Fitzgerald. Yeah.
I've not really seen it. I just hear Mario talk about it a
Yeah,
lot.
he's a cool character. I like him.
Okay, is there anything we are excited for this year other than Dune?
Well, I don't even know what's coming out.
Neither do
I don't pay attention to these things. I don't pay attention to these
really
things.
quick.
That's why we have our movie geek friends. That's what they're for. They'll tell us all the things.
That is true.
Yeah.
Upcoming movies 2023. Missing, never heard of that one. I don't know what that is. Peter Pan and Wendy.
What?
I want to watch that.
Oh my gosh, I hope it would be good.
American fantasy adventure film directed by David Lowery, who wrote the screenplay with Toby Halbrooks.
I have no idea who those people are.
Looks like a semi-decent... Oh, Jude Law as Captain Hook! Oh my gosh!
Okay.
We're watching this.
Okay. Sounds good.
Creed 3. That's a lot of Creeds.
I guess what I'm getting out of this is if there are movies that you're excited for, you should tell us. Leave a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out. Send me a text message. That way I'll for sure get it. Yeah, if there are movies that you are excited for, let us know, because we don't live under 5 rocks. I don't live under 5 rocks anymore, but I don't pay attention to all of the things. Partially because I'm busy creating my own things, and I think that's a worthwhile reason to not pay attention to all of the things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna finish Wednesday.
The Wonka movie's coming out, starring Timothée Chalamet.
How many?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it, though.
Okay.
Oh, I'm also gonna watch Quantumania. That one actually looks pretty good.
Nice.
For a Marvel movie.
Oh, it's Marvel. I'm not gonna watch it. Never
Mhm.
mind.
You can watch it.
No, the thing is, they're
It's
also.
got Michelle Pfeiffer.
She's fine, but like I don't know. Brooke. The thing is, it's been so long since I've watched like a recent Marvel thing that like I've missed all the interconnecting pieces, and I don't care enough to go watch all of them.
I mean, I've also missed a lot, and I'm not gonna watch them. I really like the guy who plays Scott, Ant-Man. I like him. Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd. I like Michelle Pfeiffer. I like the gal who plays Wasp, and I like the guy who plays Hank Pym.
Evangeline Lilly is the
Yes.
gal.
I really like the cast. I like the characters, and I have seen the other 2 Ant-Mans, so...
The best thing about the Ant-Man movies was the character Luis and his recaps of everything. Like, literally, I will not watch any of those movies. I'll just go on YouTube and I'll type in Luis's recapping of all the things, and I'll watch it. This is one of the best
I
things.
didn't know that was a thing.
Dude, just go.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna do that for all the things I haven't seen.
No. I didn't mean that. I meant I'll go watch those scenes in particular.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant he did one for, like, every Marvel movie.
I mean, that would be epic.
That would be
If
epic.
he did. Maybe he did. I don't know. It feels like something they would do. But I
That'd
don't
be
know.
amazing.
That would be amazing.
Then I won't have to watch all the things, because it's
Yeah.
really getting sucky now. After Endgame, man.
Yeah, I gave up.
Me too. I was very disappointed with the year following Endgame. I liked WandaVision, but it was still disappointing. I wasn't really thrilled with Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was alright. Loki was at least interesting. It wasn't bad. But it's another one of those, like, where do you even go after Endgame? It's literally the Endgame.
And I think they don't need to have somewhere to go, but they're just
Exactly.
milking it for all the money that it's worth.
Exactly, and
that's not
Disney
a good
killed
reason
Marvel.
to make art.
Disney completely killed Marvel, just like they killed Star Wars. It's sad.
Even though the sandcastle's gone, the memories are still there.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1 is still there.
Well, if you have any movie recommendations, let us know. Thanks for listening to our random thoughts on movies.
Yeah. And if you have any other questions on, like, why Kate is not a feminist, feel free to leave it in the box, and we will ignore it for a long time. No, we do want to have an episode at some point about being women in filmmaking and stuff like that, but that's not for today, so
That's not our primary purpose.
no.
It's just a fact. We're women.
Yep.
We make movies.
Alrighty. Yeah, so we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, like, subscribe, do whatever you do on
Do
this
all the
platform.
things.
Have a great day.
Bye.